Okay, so to start out, you set up the 1 base star, 3 raiders, which are bad guy fighters, 2 vipers, which are good guy fighters, 2 civilian ships, and you need to make the destiny deck. Destiny deck are 2 of each of these cards, and then you shuffle them. So 2 of these, 2 of these, 2 of these, 2 of these, 2 of these. You shuffle them, put them over there. We'll talk about that in a minute. Alright, first you gotta choose a character. There's 4 different types. Support, which get fairly good cards and can repair easily. Military, that get to be the admiral, who get 2 nuke tokens and decide on our destination. And they're in order of succession, so if you're this top guy, you will be the admiral for sure. Next is political leader, who get to be the president, who automatically start with 1 quorum card, which are cards that are useful in various ways, such as throwing someone in the brig, keeping them out of the brig, or increasing our morale or something. And pilots, which get to pilot the Vipers. They're the only ones that can fly, the actual Vipers. So let's say everyone rolls to go first. We're going to assume there's 5 players. So the first person chooses, let's say they choose Gaius Baltar. And then the next person goes next. They cannot choose a political leader. You have to choose a character from the most plentiful pile, except for support. Support you can choose at any time or never choose. It doesn't matter. So the next person's like, well, I'm going to choose Hilo. And then the next person says, well, I'm going to choose Lee. And then the next person now can choose any of them again because they're all only 2 left, or can choose support. This person is going to say, you know what, even though you chose Gaius and you get to be president, this person is higher in succession than you, so I'm going to be this character, meaning that that character will actually be the president. And then let's say the last person goes, okay, so I can choose military leader, pilot, or support. I'm going to choose another pilot. Sure, why not? I'm having trouble focusing, but each character has the cards that they get each turn. 1 thing that's good every turn, a once per game ability that they can use as an action, and 1 thing that's always bad. Next you deal out loyalty cards. To create a loyalty deck, you deal out twice as many cards as there are players. Depending on how many players there may be 1 Cylon card in there, or even 2. They're random, so you shuffle these together and draw 1 or 2, and then the rest are you are not a Cylon cards. Once you deal out 1 to each player, sure, there'll still be 5 left. You don't deal out those until the sleeper phase, which is when you've gone to a distance of 4 or more. So at the very beginning, there could be no Cylons, and the Cylon card or 2 Cylon cards could be show up during the sleeper phase. Or there could be 2 Cylons right off the bat. Either way, if you have even 1 Cylon card, you are a Cylon. Even if you maybe started out with this one and then during the sleeper phase you got a Cylon card, that just means you were Cylon all along, you just didn't realize it. You thought you were human, but really you were a Cylon. And so from then on you'll be playing on the Cylon side. You keep these secret, of course, you can never say it. In fact, if another player ever has a way of seeing your cards, they can lie or tell the truth, but they have to say, they can say you were a Cylon or not. They cannot say you damaged Galactica twice. They can't say the specifics of it. Now the object of the game for humans are to jump to a distance of 8, which is traveling faster than light, jumping hyperspace, traveling to a distance of 8 and then jumping 1 more time. Again, once you travel a distance of 4 or more, sleeper phase happens. But you travel a distance of 8 and then jump 1 more time. Cylons are trying to kill you before then. Basically, here's your resources. If any of them get all the way down to 0, then you lose, and Cylons have won. Or if the Centurion boarding track, if Centurions board us and they get all the way to there, humans lose. This is the jump track, so that's like one. It goes further on the jump track. I'll explain that a little bit later. The distance is decided by destination cards, which the Admiral chooses. Once we jump, the Admiral takes 2 destination cards, chooses one of them, puts the other one down. We never see what it is. Also, by the way, the President can use an action to draw a quorum card or to use a quorum card as well. So, at the beginning of your turn, you draw your cards, so whatever it says on there, you draw your normal card. So if it says 2 politics, you draw 2 of these, and then 1 leadership, 1 of those. Sometimes, like for her, you can do 1 leadership or engineering. So you choose one or the other. So first step is take cards. Second is you can move. And then third is an action, and then it's crisis card. So you can move anywhere on the board. So you take your cards, you take a move action, you can move anywhere on the board. It doesn't matter, you can move straight to there, you can move to Colonial 1, whatever. Whenever you go to Galactica or to Colonial 1, you do have to discard 1 card. So that includes if you're piloting a Viper like Lee is right now. If he wants to go here, or if he wants to go over there, he has to discard a card. Or if she wants to come over here, she has to discard a card. That's the movement. Then you take an action. The action can either be activating a location of where you're at. It can be an ability on your card, which will say action down there. Or it can be your once per game ability that everybody has. The last step is, once you're completely done, you draw a crisis card. You read it out loud, it's not a secret or anything. For this one, the current player chooses to either, they have a choice. They can either choose to just -1 morale. I know you can't read it, but they can choose to either -1 morale or try to pass this skill check. If they fail, it's -2 morale and destroy a raptor. So that's really bad, but if they pass it, no effect. It's a skill check of 10. It requires yellow and green, which are politics and leadership. So what happens is 2 cards from the Destiny deck, which are always random. So the Destiny deck again is made of 2 of each of these. So who knows what those are? Positive or negative? Who knows? So then the current player says, "I'm going to put in 2 cards," and they put in 2, and then the next player says that they're going to put in cards or not. You can choose to put 0 cards in, you can choose to put 5 cards in, you could put in 1. You have to tell the truth about how many cards you're putting in. You cannot say what they are. You can say they're good cards, they're low, or they're high, but you can't say they're really high or really low, or that they're purple, or that they're or say specifically the name especially. So you go around, and then once everybody's put in their cards, you shuffle it up, and then you reveal it. For this skill check, yellow and green were positives, meaning if there are enough yellow and green cards that equal up to 10, then you've passed it and nothing happens. If it does not get to 10, even if it's at 9, we fail it, -2 morale, and destroy 1 raptor. Now there would have been more cards than this, but see, this is green, it's a +1, yay! This is red, it's a -1, we're actually at a 0. But even if people put in cards, if there was let's say there's a bunch of piloting, that means somebody was a Cylon trying to get us to fail so that we'd run out of morale and die. So, you know, someone can say, "Oh, no, those were Destiny deck, that wasn't me," but, you know, yes it was. The last thing I'm going to talk about is that after, whether you did the skill check or not, no matter what, this is what happens next. That is a picture of a raider. Raiders get activated, and then after that, it's a flare. Flare means that we get closer to jumping. So first raiders get activated. Here's what they will always do. They will act the same way every time. They will go towards the nearest unmanned Viper, or attack it if they can, or the nearest manned Viper, or if there's none of those, the nearest civilian ship. So they get activated. All of them get activated. That's it. They do one thing. They moved to the nearest Viper. By the way, you can only move to adjacent quadrants. You cannot move straight to this one or this one to this one. It's only to adjacent ones. And if they're equidistant, they move clockwise, I believe, but actually I kind of forgot. Anyway, if they got activated again on another crisis card, then this one would fire on this one. And then let's say you missed, then this one would fire on this one. But let's say you hit him and it's damaged or destroyed, then this guy would aim at this one. And let's say you hit him and it gets destroyed. Well, that's a piloted Viper. It gets destroyed or damaged. And then Lee Adama is in the sick bay. You never die. You get thrown in the sick bay, which just means that you only draw 1 skill card at the beginning of your turn. If they get activated again, they'll do the same thing. They have to roll to destroy Vipers, but let's say one of them did manage to get over here, and let's say they destroyed it or whatever. Once Raiders got activated again, maybe these two would then go over here, but then he got activated too. He just automatically destroys a civilian ship. Oh good, there was nothing on that civilian ship. We didn't really lose anything. But let's say they destroyed this one instead. Oh no, population. We lose one population. And it is off the board and never to be used again. So if you had one that didn't have anything, that's great for now, but then later on it could be worse. Could be bad. The base star always does... oh, and by the way, let's say all of the Raiders have been destroyed. If Raiders get activated again and there's nothing on the board, nothing happens. If there is a base star, a couple Raiders, basically this thing launches a couple Raiders. Sometimes the crisis thing says for it to launch 3 Raiders. If heavy Raiders get activated, which they don't fire anything, all they do is when they get activated, they go to the nearest docking ports. If they get activated again, they become a Centurion. And then, you know about that, heavy Raiders get activated again, they move closer and closer and closer until we lose. And they're harder to hit too. Another crisis is they can instead of Raiders getting activated, it could be base stars fire. So the base star tries to fire at Galactica. It only fires at Galactica. It does not kill any civilian ships or Vipers or anything. Just fires at Galactica. Oh, by the way, if there's no civilian ships or Vipers or anything for the Raiders attack, they will then attack Galactica, but only when there's nothing, which I've never seen. Let's say they did attack it. You just grab a damage. It could be damage to fuel, which we lose a fuel, or it could be damage to a location. The hangar deck, it's damaged. And not only that, you know, it's like an explosion happened there. We can no longer use this until it gets repaired, but also get sent to sickbay. And then there is also damage for the base star. 3 hits will destroy it. I won't get into that because I'm pretty much done with this video. The last thing is jumping. Each time there's that flare, we get 1 step closer to jumping on the crisis card, the flares. So if we got a flare again, we get closer to jumping. Once we get to these blues, we could activate the FTL drive to jump away, but if we do, we have to roll to not lose population. It's basically we're leaving civilian ships behind and jumping away without them. So here we would lose 3 population if we don't roll well. Now we jump no matter what once we get to here if we chose to. Here if we rolled bad we would lose 1 population. Here we jump away without losing anybody. But you know, to survive that long is difficult. Once we jump away, all ships are gone. These are all in this pile. All Vipers go to reserves, and civilian ships go off to the side. They don't get destroyed; they just go there.